Hero back once again. Catflap Chats podcast with UFit. So just waiting for here's Liam now. Punctual, good lad. Mr. Williams.
My man, what's going on?
How are we, pal? You okay?
Say it again. Sorry, you didn't catch that.
How are you, mate? You okay? How's things?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Just doing a little bit on the bike, on the turbo train in the living room. Trying to keep the fat off. I've been eating too much.
Class. Actually in the middle of a session whilst you're on live, like.
Nah, so I keep me busy now because I'm just sat on the bike looking at the wall. So that's not chat to someone, isn't it?
That's brilliant, mate. How's life at the moment, pal? What's isolation like for you at the moment?
Strike me just doing my head in. Anybody who knows me knows, like, I just want to be out and about and doing you know, whatever, really, just not being stuck inside.
Yeah.
Even if it's not training, I can't sit still for very long. I'll just drive around in my car or something. I don't like sitting inside. So it's just doing my head in, to be honest with you, but everybody's in the same boat, so
yeah,
just have to get on with it.
And what sort of training are you able to do? Obviously, there's no boxing. There's not going to be any boxing for a while now. What sort of training are you able to do at the moment?
Very limited. You know, I got a bag in the garage. So a couple of bag workouts, just running bag on the bike, really.
Yeah.
Couple of little circuits here and there, but as I said, just very, very limited with no gym to go to and stuff.
Yeah. Are you finding that a bit boring? Is it getting a bit repetitive, or are you enjoying it?
Yeah. The thing is, I'm one of these people, I like routine.
Yeah.
When I'm out there, my head's up my arse, like I don't know what to do next. So
yeah.
I'm just wandering around the house, like, you know, just looking at something to do, checking the fridge every couple of minutes. Thinking there's going to be something new in there. And whenever it is something that don't last very long because I'm just being a greedy shit at the moment.
I suppose though, for you guys, I mean, I've never been a pro athlete, but it gives you a bit of time off to actually recover from any niggles and any sort of little injuries or whatever. Are you finding that's helpful at all?
Yeah, you are right. I suppose, but do you know what? This period in time, like, I've always had a lot of injuries through my career, but at this point in time, I haven't actually got any, so it's coming a bit of a crap time for me. I didn't really need it off. I was on a good run, you know.
Yeah, so a bit of sod's law, that is, mate. What's
yeah,
for the guys then who might not know sort of your career and you know what you've been up to? Take us through the beginning, mate, and how you got into boxing. You were quite young, weren't you, when you got into boxing?
Yeah, I was 9 when I started.
Yeah.
I was just a nightmare as a kid.
Yeah.
So I think I needed someone like that to give me a bit of direction, you know.
Yeah.
So I just started with just around my mates, to be honest with you. I didn't really think anything was ever going to come of it.
Yeah.
I just thought, like, just something to go in the warm and dry for an hour or two, just to just go and fuck about there instead of outside in the cold, you know.
Yeah. Did you like school, or was that your? Would you rather have been there? I'm gonna have a beer, by the way. You got a nice little Heineken.
Okay, down you, son. Come on. Nah, I hated school. I was a nightmare in school.
Yeah.
If I could look back at myself in school now, as an adult, looking back at myself as a child, I'd think, you know what, that kid's a little fucking dick. I would hate myself. I wasn't an horrible kid, but I was just a little shit, like.
Yeah, just bored, was it?
Yeah, mainly. And that's like, I wasn't great as a teenager, but now I've got a little role. I think that's why I needed boxing, to give me a bit more purpose, but, you know, sense of direction, you know.
Yeah. Bit of discipline as well. I suppose it teaches you a lot about discipline, routine, and actually working hard for something when you've got nothing.
100%, yeah, definitely.
What was it like for you? Because you had a decent amateur career, didn't you? Almost 50 fights, was it? What was that like from going as a kid and then coming up through the amateurs?
Yeah, I had 49 fights as amateur.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I was always had the talent, but I never really seen, when I was young, I never once thought that I'd become professional.
Yeah.
It just progressed as time went on, you know. And then I won the senior Welsh championships when I was 7. I won eight Welsh titles.
Yeah.
And 5 British titles also. But
class.
I think when I was 17, I won the seniors, and I had the opportunity to go and train with Nathan Cleverly and his dad.
Yeah.
Who trained him at the time. So I went there for my last, I think, 3 amateur fights. And then obviously with Nathan being a world champion and the big name that he was at the time.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to turn professional with Frank Warren. So
yeah.
Obviously I jumped there. A lot of people told me it was too early.
Yeah.
But I matured quite young. I feel like I was like a man fighting boys when I was 15. Do you know what I mean?
You a big lump, were you?
So, what's that?
Were you a big lump, were you, compared to the rest of them?
See, do you know when I was 13?
Yeah.
When I was 13, I used to fight the heavier weight than what I do now when I'm 27. Swear.
That's berserk.
14 years ago, I was 5 pound heavier than what I am now. Well, not now because I'm obviously a bit heavier at the moment. I'm out of camp for fight weigh-in.
Yeah. That's mad. Obviously, you must have been battering kids at that age.
Yeah, I was a little tank. No stop me.
I love that, mate. Did you get close to the Olympics at all?
Yeah, I was supposed to go to a final like qualifier for the Olympic. Yeah. For the Olympic team. And I just finished training on a Sunday. I think I went training on Sunday morning. That was when I was over in Bargoed with Cleverly. Yeah. I had a puncture in my car on the way home on the bypass, so I was out changing the wheel and I got hit by another car.
Jesus.
I was kneeling down changing my wheel and there's a woman texting and she smashed me across the floor.
Bloody hell.
I couldn't walk properly for like 3 weeks or so.
Fuck. And then out the window then, was it?
Mad, yeah, it was like, obviously I just one of them ones, like, I think it happens, everything happens for a reason, and that's not good. Things happen, but it just gives you that direction, and then it's going where I am now. I turned professional early and just started kicking on, like I didn't let it get me down too much.
That's berserk, mate. Fair play to you. What was it? You obviously turned pro, and what was your first title? 2014, was it? Is that right? Was it Commonwealth?
Yeah, I think it would have been. Yeah, I beat a guy called Michael Lomax for the Commonwealth title, and obviously I would have been 21. Yeah. So again, young to start winning titles, but that was the worry for a lot of people. I think is the fact that if I got myself into a position too soon, when I didn't really have the experience, then once you're at that title level, you can't really go back. Yeah. You have to keep taking steps forward. But lucky enough, I've done all the right things, and I'm in a great position. I've done everything asked of me. So.
Did you? Am I right in saying you had a nasty hand injury then as well? Did you have surgery on your hand around then?
Yeah, a couple of operations on my right hand. I don't know if you can see the scar there.
Yeah, I remember seeing the pictures.
Can't even straighten it. Look.
Bloody hell.
Yes, but you know what? Like, I had trouble with that for years. Yeah. But now my other hand, which was once my good hand, is probably worse than that now. So it's just wear and tear, and it's you're not meant to be punching people in the head day in day out. So
Hey, look, if it pays the bills, pal, pays the bills, mate. What was
I'm lucky I can fight, that's for sure, because I won't be doing nothing else.
Hey, I'm sure you'd have been good at something else, pal. What's the because you won the British after that? Then there was a vacant British title, but it was my first memory of you was when you fought Gary Corcoran. Because I wasn't massively into my boxing before that, and then but there was a bit of blood around that one. There was a bit of heated debate and a bit of words with that fight. What was all that about?
Well, we didn't like each other, that's for sure. I don't know. I think it was just a clash of personalities. He was quite outspoken, and like I'm one of these people. I'll never back down to anyone. So
yeah,
I just started giving it to him from the off, and obviously built up a real dislike for each other.
Yeah, and obviously I want to get into the Liam Smith 2 fights, if you don't mind. Before I say anything, what's your overriding feelings now, a couple of years later, on both of those fights, and how do you feel about it now?
Obviously, a little bit gutted at the loss of the fight. So the first one, I believe I should have won. I didn't lose that fight anyway.
Yeah.
By the time the second fight come round, I've only got myself to blame really, because it was a very close fight. But I weren't living the life I should have been, and I weren't really enjoying boxing anymore. I got to that stage, where I needed a change and need some freshen up,
Yeah.
So obviously that was at the point when I went to Dom, but going back for that, like I've got no regrets. It's everything I've done have put me where I am now, and even though I did set myself back a little bit, and I could have been further on now, but I don't regret any of it. If I could go back, I wouldn't change a thing, because it's moulded me to what I am now,
Yeah. What was he like? He didn't make weight, did he? Is that the first or the first fight? He didn't make the weight either.
The first one, he come in
heavy.
He come in like maybe 3 pound over or something.
Yeah.
But it didn't do him any favours. I beat him anyway. So
yeah.
And he had to give me a couple of quid fine. So if I fought him again, he can fail again if he likes.
Is there talks of a third fight, trilogy fight? Give you another shot?
I've asked for it many times now, and I think he knows that. I'm not saying he's scared to fight me, but from a business side of it, he doesn't really need to fight me again.
Yeah.
Because he knows I've improved a lot as well.
Yeah.
I done to him what I did in the first fight when I was on it. So what would happen now? I honestly believe I'd smash him.
Yeah. He don't want that smoke.
I've asked for the fight a few times, and nothing's really come of it. But you don't know. You never know in the future. If I go and pick up myself a title now,
yeah,
he can have a shot if he wants. I've got something to offer him then.
Yeah, of course, obviously. What was I was going to say, you mentioned then, obviously you were with Gary Lockett down here, and ended up going up to Sheffield with Dominic Ingle in the Ingle gym. What was the thinking behind that, and what were the differences that you either had to adjust to, or has made you kind of on that next path now?
It was just that obviously I needed a change. I've been around Dom's gym for a couple of years, like previous when I sparred with Kel Brook.
Yeah.
I went back and forth a couple of times sparring with Kel for Golovkin when he fought him. Well, I was back and forth a couple of times anyway, and I always knew Dom was a great trainer. So, even when I was there, when I never had any plans to leave or go anywhere else,
yeah,
I always thought to myself, if there was somewhere which I had to pick and go to, it would have been Dom. And it just so happens that a couple of years later, obviously that's what happened.
Yeah. What's the transition like personally when you're obviously living at home and all your family's here and your friends are here, moving up to Sheffield, living in a flat, you're on your own a lot more? How do you find that?
it's a little bit tough, to be honest with you. Sometimes, obviously, when you're making weight and you're training, and that's the time mostly when you need to be around people.
Yeah.
I'd rather be lonely when I am going to train on the dieting, because you can just do your own thing. But obviously, when you're in camp, you can't really go out, and you couldn't go out and have a beer. You couldn't go and have food. You're so tired. You got too much time to yourself and you think a lot.
Yeah. What's it like training with some of the world class guys they got up there? So you said about Kel Brooks. You got Billy Joe Saunders. Is he up there? And a few others.
Billy Joe's not there anymore.
Okay.
But obviously spent a fair bit of time around him.
Yeah.
Barry, Kid Galad.
Yeah.
Obviously, you got Eve, Willie Hutchinson. There's so many. Robbie Davis is there now. Yes, it's fantastic. It's buzzing at the moment, and everybody bounces off each other. We have good banter and all that, and it helps keep spirits up.
Is there any? And I wouldn't have a clue. Is there any? Not beef. Beef's the wrong word, but is there anything ever between sort of like the MTK guys and Frank Warren and the Matchroom guys or anything like that at all? Is there any competition around that?
Or in terms of fighters, you mean?
Well, yeah, fighters, or like if you've got some in the stable who are Matchroom and some then who are Frank Warren, for example, and one might get nothing like that.
Well, obviously, you got a split between Frank and Eddie or whatever. Like, they ain't biggest fans of each other. I don't think. Obviously, with they both got their own promotional the rivalry.
Yeah.
So, but in terms of fighters who are signed to Eddie and Frank and management, there's nothing to that. It's just fighters a fighter. They just get on with their thing, and that's that really. But you obviously got Kel, Barry, Robbie, I believe, is with Eddie as well. Yeah. And then you got Willie. There's a couple with Frank, a couple with Eddie, and we're all very good mates, close,
Class. I always wondered that. Talk me through your last few fights, mate. You obviously after the Liam fight, Liam Smith fights, you not started again, but you started building again, and you finished off quite strongly. Talk me through them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously when I said to you in the last Liam Smith fight, I weren't really enjoying what I was doing and started losing my path a bit,
Yeah.
But then, obviously, I didn't really think I enjoyed boxing that much anymore. But then, when I lost that fight, Smith, it hurt me a lot more than I thought it was going to.
Okay.
And then, obviously, that's when I realised how much love I have got for boxing,
Yeah.
And I thought, obviously, when I had time to reflect, then I was like, what the fuck do I do without boxing? That's what makes me happy, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, obviously, just change things I needed to. Go back on the horse and cracked on with it, and obviously, everything's been very good since.
Yeah. So you're on 22 wins now out of 25?
2 losses, one had a technical draw on it against a guy called Ryan Booth. I was bossing the fight, and clash of heads, obviously, because before, with it inside 4 rounds, they just called it a no contest.
No contest,
draw.
Yeah.
So that was a bit shit, but it is what it is, and you learn from them all, win or lose, really.
Yeah. And that, so the last, I was watching one of the knockouts I watched, was it Mullinder?
Yeah.
And you've hit him around a bit, he's got back up, and then you've put a 1-2 down the pipe, and he is, see you later, he's gone like.
Yeah. Dead to the world, eh?
You feel like you're getting... Do you feel like you're getting better and better and better and at that world level again now?
Yeah, definitely. Everything, I've stepped up gradually back into world title contention, and obviously now I'm mandatory to fight.
Yeah.
Demetrius Andrade for the WBO middleweight world title. So yeah, it's been a couple of good fights and a good run of form. So I believe I'm going into it in the right path, you know.
Yeah. He didn't stop that Atlantis Fox or whatever his name is, but you stopped him.
Yeah, he went 12 rounds with Andrade. I obviously stopped him inside 5, and you know, I did. It weren't just like I caught him and knocked him out in the 5th. I beat him from round, I smashed him from round 1, you know. So
yeah.
But the thing is, people compare that. They look into that too much.
Yeah.
And they think, well, if he went 12 and had a point victory over Fox, and I stopped him in 5, then on paper, like, to the non-boxing fan,
yeah,
I'm going to go and smash Andrade. But it doesn't, you know, styles make fights.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I think I'll beat him, because I think I'm going to smash him as well. But no, it's just styles make fights, and
yeah,
you don't know how it's going to pan out. Like,
I love how you're not afraid to step back, and you're really social on. You're really prominent on your social medias. Do you speak to these guys like Andrade now? Have you spoken to him much? And like, I seen some stuff with you and Devin Haney the other day about obviously the comments he made, and you replied, and then he was like, "Who are you?" Blah blah blah. Do you speak to the fighters much that you're looking to fight with?
The only time I ever speak to him is like what you see on Instagram, where I want to speak to him.
Yeah.
I just want to abuse him, that's it.
and on that, like, do you find they bite a lot, or how does it all work?
Say it again, sorry?
So do you find that they bite back a lot, or do they just, you know, just some of them bite more than others, or do they just ignore you, or do they build it up and right, come on then, let's go, let's get it done?
Yeah, well, some do, innit? Like, it was quite a lot of chat with Fox before that last one.
Yeah.
But then everything I've said to Andrade, he's not really took the bait. He's just, I don't think he wants to get into it, because I don't think he wants to fight now.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be totally surprised if even though I'm mandatory, the fight might still not happen. I'll fight for the title, but I can see him vacating and going elsewhere.
Yeah. Maybe
fight Billy Joe.
Okay. There's a lot of politics in boxing. How do you find that?
Yeah, that's the downside to it, isn't it? There's a lot of that which goes on. And it depends the position you're in, because that can either work for you or against you. Like, right now it's working against me because I'm no champion.
Yeah.
I'm looking to get my shot, but say Charlo, for example,
yeah,
or even Andrade himself.
Yeah.
They're the type of people that's going to work in their favour, because they're world champions. They're going to pay good money to fight tomato cans. Like,
yeah,
they're just beating up stiffs, you know.
Yeah.
So from their point of view, it's fantastic, because they're getting paid good money to bash them on.
Yeah.
But then for me, it's harder to get my shot, you know, because these people are avoiding me, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. And there's obviously there's different yous in other countries as well, all trying to get their shot as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, it's one of them ones where that is the downside to it, but you know, you got to take it as a package and take it forward as a whole thing.
Would you rather it was more like the UFC, where you've just got one belt per weight category?
Yeah, that'd be good. You'll never see that in boxing, though. It's gone too far.
Okay.
But it would be good. And if somebody's in the position, like with their banking and whatever,
yeah,
you fight them. Simple as that.
Yeah.
In UFC, so I just think it should be a little bit more forceful with making a champion.
Yeah.
Fight the the number ones or number twos or whatever.
Yeah.
It is.
I see quite a bit, obviously, on social media, on Twitter and that. Do you get much abuse yourself? Not necessarily from fighters calling you out, but boxing. Like, I follow rugby and boxing on Twitter quite a lot, and you see a lot of armchair boxing supporters, should we say, in brackets. What sort of what sort of abuse do you get? What sort of social media trolling do you get?
I don't really get a great deal, but it just pisses me off when you get some fat fella sitting on the settee drinking a pint
Me.
on his pack of crisps, and he thinks there was a video of me which I think MTK posted just on the bag in the garage is all.
Yeah.
And I remember somebody writing something like, no wonder why this guy has no power, or something like his legs are too small, and said something like that. And I'm thinking, you fucking idiot, I'm punching one of the hardest in the division.
Yeah.
Talking about, and he's just banging on about, oh, his legs are too skinny. And I'm like, fucking hell.
Do you
just go on another pint, you fool.
Do you bite back a lot?
Yeah. I'd give it to him. Trust me.
Is that because you're bored at the moment, or is it just like, fuck it, you're having it?
I'll do it anyway. Do you know when I'm in camp? I love it because it just keeps me busy. I'm like, I might make out that I want to kill someone behind the phone, but really I'm sat there, I'm pissing myself laughing in bed, like just thinking, I've got him.
Loads of people have said that you come across like you're the angriest man in boxing.
Yeah, you do. I can be. But I like a good laugh as well, doing so. If somebody turns to me, then it's on.
Yeah. How do you find it affects your sort of mental health, and how do you manage to ignore it and not take it personally, but stay at that level of having a laugh and motivating? And how do you make it work for you?
Do you know what I think? Do you know somebody's? If I get into a bit of a thing with someone where it makes me angry, but like before I used to let that show in my performances.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've got that under control now. And if it gets to that stage where somebody's making personal remarks or whatever it may be, that helps me. I'd rather someone be giving me shit because it makes me train harder. It makes me, I'm thinking, they're going to get it. But
yeah.
So it depends how you take it. Some people, if they're the type of person to shy away from that kind of thing, then it might affect them. But for me, I feed off it. I like it.
Yeah. How do you find it? Again, you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to, but obviously, away from you fighting, there's been a couple of setbacks that you've witnessed. Obviously, Nick Blackwell, and then again when Dale Evans fought. Is it Mike Towell? Was it?
Yeah.
How did, for the people who don't know, obviously Nick Blackwell suffered brain injuries and head injuries and had to retire from boxing, and Mike Towell obviously, unfortunately passed away. How does that affect you, knowing that you are in the sport day to day and it could happen to anyone, but you've seen it with your own eyes? How did that affect you?
It's obviously difficult seeing that happen to people that you're very, very close to and good friends and whatever. It's obviously and his family and everyone else it's heartbreaking. It's a bad thing to happen, but if anything, I think that's made me just be more prepared and stuff. It's made me better because I think unless I'm 100%, I won't be fighting. Simple as that.
Okay.
And I know I don't want to come across a dick, but like, if 10,000 people have bought tickets to come watch me fight, I'm not going to think twice I don't want to let people down, and they may have booked hotels, they may have bought tickets, but at the end of the day, it's my career. If I lose, I'm right back there again.
Yeah.
So I don't care. Like as I said, I don't want to sound a dick, but if I went 100%, I wouldn't think twice about pulling out of a fight. Yeah,
it's your health. It's your health at the end of the day as well, and obviously I think that's the biggest thing. I've had a couple of white collars. Do you know what I mean? I'm no boxer by any stretch of the imagination, but even stepping in to do that, from not doing it before, you get to understand a little bit about what it takes to get in there. I think that's probably where I get a bit annoyed with people who don't understand professional sport, let alone boxing, giving it the big one all the time on social.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a big thing. Is, as you said, people who don't know nothing about boxing, and they comment in the making. Like when you see someone who never had a fight in their life, and for instance, they might see a fight on the weekend. If somebody gets pulled out or whatever, they're like, "Oh, you spewed it, you shit yourself and pulled out." Like,
yeah.
If they blatantly do something like that, then yeah, it's a bit of a shitbag move. But when people get pulled out and stuff like that, and then you get people giving them whatever on social media saying, "Oh, you're a fucking quitter, you're this, you're that," but they don't realise they've never had a fight. Like, they don't realise how tough it is, how dangerous it is as well.
Yeah. Did you get much of that after? Because obviously, when you fought Liam Smith, it was, well, clash of heads, gloves, you know. Did you get much of that? Obviously, Gary pulled you out, but it was the right thing to do because your eye was lacerated.
Yeah, do you know what? I could have gone on in that fight, but I was never gonna see the finish anyway.
Yeah.
And I knew that because I couldn't see a thing out of my eye.
Yeah.
So, for the sake of going on 2 more rounds, getting more facial damage, possibly even ended up getting knocked out maybe, because I don't think that would have happened. There's always a possibility I couldn't see properly.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
you've got to take into consideration all them things, and for the sake of going on another round or 2, just for what? Just to be, oh yeah, I'm a big man, I stuck in there, fucking, you know, I took my knocks and I got knocked out. But I wouldn't say that. I'd rather just get out, you know, reasonable health and come back again. Yeah,
of course. Fair play to you, mate. I love your mindset, the determination. I can always see it in you. I was looking at some of the light middleweights, and the names across the champions there. So obviously you spoke about Andrade, who's the WBO in the middleweight, but then some of the names you've got: Charlo, you mentioned, Alvarez, Golovkin, Rosario, and then even the homegrown, you got Kell Brook, Fowler, Eubank, Felix Cash, Smith. What sort of fights are you looking for now then? Obviously you're teetering on that world shot level now, waiting for that. Who do you want to go after?
Yeah, it's obviously some of them they ain't the fights I'm after, because they don't give me what I'm looking for. But I obviously want champions. You got Kell Brook is obviously in my gym anyway. Yeah. So that's a no-no, and you know, he's a friend of mine as well, so I'm never going to want to fight him. If situations were different, then we'd have to put that aside, but he's my mate. I would never go looking for that, you know?
Yeah.
But you know, the ones you named is in terms of Golovkin, Charlo, Canelo, Andrade, any of them, I want them all. And any of the other ones along the way, if they want to get it as well, they can. Eubank,
so I see Boxing UK earlier put on, apparently Eubank has called out Charlo today. What's your thoughts on Eubank? What's he like?
He's a prick. I'd love to punch the face clean off him.
Would you?
Yeah, I'd love to smash him.
Why?
No, but he just I don't know, trying to smash him. He just doesn't come across very well, does he? He doesn't.
No.
He won't interact with people. He won't, like, type of guy I am. I walk down the street, I get stopped every 10 minutes by people just chatting shit about boxing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I always get a fight with it.
Yeah.
Whereas Eubank, can you imagine someone stopping him in the ronda for a chat, and he wouldn't look at him twice, but he's a prick.
And what do you think about his style? Because again, again, my limited knowledge, I'd say he's kind of under-delivered. I don't know if that's the right word or not, but he seems like he's got, you know, he's quite explosive. But I don't know.
He's explosive and he is very tough in all fairness to him.
Yeah.
He's got a great engine. He works, you know, non-stop pretty much throughout the fight, and he's got a lot of good things to say about him, but his personality's shit.
Yeah.
And you know, he has got things which you can pick up on his boxing as well. Anybody who's a good technical fighter is always going to give him big problems because he's very limited in that department, and he just wants to stand and trade, and if you got a little bit of something about you, you're always going to cause him problems.
Yeah, of course. If Andrade either vacates or doesn't want that fight, who's sort of the next in line for you in terms of fights you can make or fights that you want?
To be honest, obviously Andrade is the one I want, but other than that, I'd like Eubank.
Yeah.
But there's nothing really there to offer me.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, I've not really got anything to offer him right now.
Yeah.
So it'd be a great fight, but that's about it really in terms of chasing titles. Personally, I'd love to fight Golovkin because he's got such a big name, and like he's been known as this feared man for so many years and whatever. I'd love to test myself against him, and that's genuine. I could take a fight tomorrow. I'd love it.
There's not many fighters. I mean, again, I've watched him a few times. There's not many fighters who gets hit and he just goes, "Come on, then, let's go again." He seems hard as nails.
Yeah, he is. Seen some of the shots he took against Canelo as well, and Canelo, he's a machinery.
Yeah, unbelievable.
And the way them two went at it, and he was taking shots and just firing back.
Yeah,
he's a very tough man, that's for sure. But I think he's at the great stage in his career now where I could definitely take him.
Yeah,
because I think he's probably started to dip a little bit, and he's going to be starting to hit the slide now.
Yeah,
I think I'd be the man to probably take him out.
Where's the best place you fought so far, and where do you want to fight?
What was it again? Where's the best place I fought?
Yeah, where's the best place you fought so far?
I fought some good arenas, like obviously Manchester Arena, Liverpool Echo Arena, London O2, Copbox.
Yeah.
Motorpoint in Cardiff. So they're all good in different ways, you know. But for me, there's two places I love to fight, and that's Millennium Stadium.
Yeah.
And in Vegas, wherever.
Yeah.
Vegas or Madison Square Garden, maybe.
Yeah, of course. That'd be unbelievable. And obviously, if you're looking at people like Golovkin and that, hopefully that's something that you can get out in Vegas as well. Do you reckon you'd have a lot of travelling support? Seems that a lot of local people follow you around here, and you've got a lot of support.
Yeah, 100%. I think I've always had a good following from the off, to be honest.
Yeah.
More you get, obviously, with some of them come and go, dip in and out. But the loyal ones, they come in and travel the other side of the world, so
class.
Yeah, it definitely be a massive thing to do when I love to fight.
What's that feeling like, again, for people who haven't? I fought in front of, I think, 400 or 500 people. My heart was at my chest over here somewhere. I was bouncing in the ring, and then when the first bell went, my legs went and I was knackered. What's that feeling like when you walk out and the music's going and everyone's going mad? Explain that to people.
You can't explain it, to be honest with you. It's just like you just feel numb. It's mad, like all these people here to support you, do you know what I mean? And whatever. It's a crazy feeling. As I said, you can't explain it, but it's a good buzz, let me tell you.
How do you stay calm amongst all that chaos?
You just have to, at first, it's difficult, like you first got to fight somewhere, but I think just with experience, you can't really train yourself to, before actually experiencing it, you couldn't train yourself to get caught up in all that, but
yeah,
I think it just comes with time and experience. I could be 50,000 people screaming, and I think I'll just be in the zone,
Yeah, that's class. It's different level then as well, because do you feel pressure?
Yeah, of course. I think anybody who tells you they don't feel pressure is full of shit, to be honest with you, because there's a lot riding on each fight, innit?
Yeah.
Number one, you could obviously go and get hurt, knocked out, whatever.
Yeah.
And then just everything else that comes with it. You could lose your title, you could not win the title you challenged for. You know, if you lose, you get set back, which means. So I wouldn't tell you obviously how much, but when I fought Liam Smith, I had a good old chunk of money for it. Did I pause that?
Yeah, pause a little bit. Sorry, pal.
My battery just come on, said 20%.
Oh, sorry.
So, yeah, when I boxed Liam Smith, I had a good old chunk of money for it. And the second one, and then, do you know when my first fight back after the loss?
Yeah.
I fought on a little show in Cardiff, and you know, it's quite embarrassing. I earned like just over $1,000.
Yeah.
It's a joke. Like from what I earned previously to that is like you wouldn't believe it. Like,
and that's how quick it can go. Just like that, it's gone.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying to you. Like, forget everything else. Titles, you know, getting hurt. Like, I've got to live off what I earn.
Yeah.
So if I lose this next fight, I might struggle to live for a couple of months.
Yeah. It's berserk, mate.
So,
it's mad. I don't think people see that, especially boxers who are coming through, and even when you get injuries. Obviously, Chris down in Swansea, Chris Rocker, he had a couple of injuries, his ear and that, didn't he? And he couldn't fight for ages. And people don't realise that it's your lifeline essentially.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I had 13 months. I couldn't fight for 13 months with my hand injury.
Yeah.
And I was obviously kicking the balls, but I never really struggled too much because I got a good family and whatever, and my parents have always been there to help me out. So I'm lucky, but a lot of people ain't so lucky, you know. Yeah.
What advice would you give to your younger self or someone coming through now in Wales?
Was there advice you say?
Yeah. What advice would you give?
Just keep training hard. Listen to your trainers, and make sure you're surrounded with good people. That's going to guide you in the right direction, and I'll do it for their own needs, you know.
Yeah. How important is it for guys who are coming through to get the miles in the legs running?
Yeah, very good. Obviously, for me, I think that's the main base of my fitness.
Yeah.
And the conditioning, you know. Obviously, the main thing is boxing, but in terms of conditioning, again, stamina, I think running has always been the one for me, really.
Class, love that. What's the? I won't keep you too much longer, pal. I know your battery's going to go. What's the future look like for Liam the Machine?
World champion soon, and bring it all back home to Wales. Big fights coming soon.
Class. Have you got any ideas on when you might see the next fight?
No idea at the moment. Obviously, my last one was due to be nailed down and our contracts in place and stuff with Andrade, but then this lockdown came 2 days before the deadline, so we were kicking the balls. But I'm still going to be in exactly the same position, you know.
Yeah.
Nothing changes for me, but it's just a case of just staying patient now and waiting till my time comes, you know.
Yeah. Fair play to you, pal. It must be tough training for something at the moment, but you actually don't know what you're really training for, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. It's obviously difficult with mostly diet for me because I am a grubber. Like, I like eating all food and shit food as well. I like eating bad stuff. But it's like I just want to. I'm starving all the time.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been full.
Are you training twice a day?
Most days now, yeah. I just train one. This is all I'm doing today, just steady. But then I rode the cut call on the bike yesterday.
I seen that, yeah.
So I was good at work. My legs are a bit tired, but I just done a steady hour or so here. I think I might have been on here for 1 hour. I don't know. Yeah, it's a little burn. Back at it tomorrow. I'm back work in the morning. Probably do maybe a run tomorrow night, see how it goes.
Class. Fair play to you, mate. Hey, look, we won't keep you much longer, mate. Obviously, hopefully we can do this again when you've brought the title back to Wales and we can have a beer and have another chat with all the UFit followers then, alright, pal?
Yeah, definitely, mate. Anytime, just let me know when we get it done. Sure.
No worries, mate. Well, good luck with everything. Obviously, stay safe in isolation. Look after your family and everything. Keep training. Hopefully, we'll see you back in the ring soon, alright, pal?
Good man, yeah. Thank you. Nice speaking to you, pal.
And you, bud. Take care. I'll speak to you soon. Ta-ra, bye.
Take care.